But I mean,
So
you still
no,
do the show, right? I mean,
well, yeah, but
with awareness.
yeah, with awareness for sure. And the awareness is I'm trying to find the 1 in 200.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's 1 in 200, but let's just go with that number. I'm just trying to find the 1 in 200. That's all.
Yeah.
Together, if we get enough numbers together, we'll be unstoppable, but there will be a great rending horror of recognition of self-annihilation, of recognition of participation in evil, which I can't face or create or sustain alone. It needs to be a group of people who all see at the same time and are willing to accept the evidence of the inhumanity of man. We must have a tribe that can stand together and accept the mind-rending horror of the inhumanity of the planet. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Mike can't do it alone. Other people can't do it alone. We need enough people who can see that we can be a tribe that can sustain each other while swallowing the wretched horror of mankind's self-hatred and self-contempt for the infliction of false ethics, particularly on children. This is not something that an individual can survive the sight of. So I'm just trying to build a tribe of people who can see, who are willing to accept evidence, and I'm working on my own capacity to continue to accept evidence, to continue to accept the truth, not just in a theoretical way, not just in a wish fulfillment way, which is very dangerous, but in a practical, tangible, this is the shit that we see way.
Right.
And if there are enough people who can get together without any illusions left, where all of the delusions have been absorbed by the great white sleepless shark of truth, when we have no illusions and we know each other and we can stand together against the collective madness of mankind, then we can build what will in effect be a new species. An unscarred, unbroken, unshattered species that can speak, that can communicate, that can love, that have empathy, that have curiosity, that recognize evil and the rare occasions when it will arise and can act against it as one, and keep the world safe from the ultimate predation of emotional emptiness. But we are a long way from that. Those people, very few of them can be made. Most of them will need to be bred. And they need to be bred in an environment uncontaminated by the endless bullshit of the old world. Right? The whole breeding arena of the species needs to be cleaned the fuck up. I don't allow crazy people around my daughter any more than I allow people with visible rotting sores and spots to give her a big, juicy, sweaty, infecting bear hug. No. My breeding arena is pretty fucking tidy. And that's why I say, if you've got crazy, abusive, nutty people, hey, you can choose to have them in your life. You don't have that choice when you have kids. You can choose to inject yourself with an illness if you're a crazy bastard, but you don't have the right to inject anyone else with the illness, particularly people who are helpless and dependent upon you. And that's why I knew I wanted kids. As soon as I started dating my wife and got married, I knew we wanted kids. And I knew. Clean up the breeding pen. Clean up the breeding arena, babies. Because I don't have I can subject myself to my crazy family of origin. I cannot subject my child, and I really don't have much of a right to subject my wife to it either. It wasn't her goddamn fault. It wasn't mine either, but, right?
Sure.
So, this is why I'm raising my daughter without crazy people. And without the effect that crazy people have on me. Right, in my life. Online, who gives a shit, right? But in my life.
Yeah.
And we are a hell of a long way from people even committing to breeding their offspring in a sane environment. And so we're still at least 2 generations away from a tribe of people committed enough to reality to be able to absorb the collective horror of a highly manipulative ex-mankind as we transition to something who would generally be called supermen, superwomen. And you could be one of those people. Why
I
not?
intend to be.
I hope you will be. And that's the stakes that we're playing with, if that makes any sense.